Hello everyone, welcome back to ATBP Gaming again. Today I want to talk about something that almost everyone experience, but not everyone truly understands, I think. It's about commuting. It is one of those small daily things that when you are poor like me, it becomes a big challenge. Every day people like me navigate to crowded streets, long queues, and very heavy traffic just to reach work or school, for example. And by the time we arrive, many feel completely drained. Um, like we have already lost half of our energy before the day even begins. Nowadays commuting has become expensive as well. Even a single ride can feel like a big expense when every penny counts. Money is already tight for survival, so every cost, every small coin matters. You start the day calculating not only what you need for food, but also how much it will take to, just to get to work. Commuting is no longer just about moving from one place to another. It is a small battle in itself, I think. Uh, the traffic is also unbearable, especially here in my country. We have one of the worst traffic in the world. People say we have some um, one of the worst drivers as well, and I think that is true. In many days, it feels like the city does not move, especially in the weekdays, especially in Monday. Buses and jeepneys scroll slowly on the road, honking and stopping frequently, while people like me sit inside, watching the minutes pass, knowing that money is, time is money. I think you guys know that too. You plan your life around traffic because getting stuck for hours is not unusual, and when you are poor, losing hours in traffic is losing money, energy and patience. Even before you board a vehicle, for example, the struggle begins. There are too many commuters and not enough public transport. Uh, you can see it in the queue. You line up sometimes for hours, hoping to get a seat or even just a space to hold on. People push and squeeze, and everyone is tired, sweaty, or frustrated. You see the desperation in their faces and their eyes. And when you feel it yourself, waiting in line for hours can be exhausting before your day even starts. And then comes the ride. You cram into one vehicle like a sardines in a can, with dozens of others. There is barely space to move, barely room to breathe. Some people are standing for the entire trip, and most of the time, trip will be hours. The shortest will be an hour and a half. Imagine you just stand there, holding onto rails while vehicles jerk and jolt. Every stop is a chance for more people to climb in and adding weight and pressure. Sometimes it feels impossible to get comfortable, impossible to rest and impossible to escape the physical discomfort. Also, road rage is everywhere. Drivers honk, shout, and sometimes drive aggressively just to get ahead. Commuters are trapped in the middle, trying to stay safe while the chaos unfolds outside. You cannot leave the vehicle, you cannot choose the road, you cannot control the traffic, and all you can do is endure the entire trip. And that endurance takes a toll on your body, you know, and of course, on your mind and your mood. And by the time you finally reach your destination, whether it is work or school, you feel like a zombie. Your body is heavy, legs are sore, mind is exhausted for hours, of the anticipation, discomfort, and stress. But the day, the day does not stop there. You must still work, take care of your responsibilities, and open. There is no time to rest because the journey home will be as difficult and just exhausting. And sometimes it's worse, especially in on Monday or Friday. Some people might watch this and say, even other countries, people have long commutes. Why I complain? And that is true. Long commutes exist everywhere, but the difference is in I think, the impact and the consequences when you are poor. Commuting is not just inconvenient; it can affect your income, your health, and the ability to survive day by day. And for example, one late ride can make you late for work, which means uh, a lost pay. One delayed bus can ruin plans and force you to skip meals or other small necessities. It is a cycle of stress that never really ends. You wake up early to avoid the lines. For example, your your usual time to get to to school or work is 7 a.m. You have to wake up early at 4 a.m. To get ready and to go to the queue, because the queue will spend time with you for hours. If I can only give you a picture, you will understand. You spend hours there standing or sitting uncomfortably. You arrive already drained. You work hard all day, and then you must endure the journey home. By the time you reach your neighborhood, it is probably late in the evening. Your body aches, your energy is gone, and your mind is still thinking about bills, food, and tomorrow's commute. And sometimes I feel like crying, not because life is unfair in general, but because of this daily reality for us that many people do not see. People underestimate the toll of commuting when money is tight. It is easy to think commuting is just a small inconvenience, but when you are poor, it is hours stolen from your life. Energy spent before work even starts, and money used to survive. I know some viewers might say, why not take another route, or why not leave earlier? Of course we do, but even then it does not help. You know, every route is crowded, traffic is unpredictable, and leaving earlier does not solve exhaustion, the cram rides or the road rage. You can only try to endure or try to adapt at least, and sometimes uh, enduring all of this is the only thing you can do. Yet, even in this struggle, there is something to learn. I think commuting teaches patience, resilience. You start to understand the value of every minute and every penny. You learn small strategy to survive. Probably leaving early, even though it is not a big help. You know, skipping meals to save money, These are not glamorous things to do, but they are survival skills to use every day in this situation. Still, I cannot hide the truth, but uh, by the time you reach your destination, many feel completely worn out. The common saying in my country is, once you reach your destination, you are already a zombie, and that is true. You show up physically, mentally, and emotionally exhausted, ready to push through the day because work, life, and survival demand it. You know, Commuting is a small part of life, but for people living with limited resources, it is a major struggle. It shapes how we start out our day, how we feel, and how much energy we have left to handle everything else. It is a quiet, invisible challenge that is rarely talked about, but I think it is real. Even though this sounds very uh, stressful or heavy, it is not just about complaining. It is about showing the reality of life for those who must navigate long hours, crowded vehicles, these worst traffics in the world, and the cost of survival. All before the day even begins, it is a reminder of resilience and small victories in making it through another day. And I think that's it for now. Uh, I think this issue will not be resolved for the years to come, but I just want to run this. Uh, I think some of you understand what I'm talking about, especially if you are living in a country like mine. So that is it. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your time here. And as usual, if you have any stories, opinions, or thoughts, please comment it below. Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you on the next video. Bye bye.